Joining us on the guest line, good friend of the show, the former UFC light heavyweight champion who Saturday night makes his UFC middleweight debut against Daniel Kelly. Sugar Rashad Evans is with us. Rashad, welcome to Fight Week, man. How goes the battle?
It's pretty good. I just got to, only difference is now I'm more just conscious of my weight than I was at 205. But, I've been out for a while, almost a year now, and I don't know, I've been fighting for 14 years, but you never get used to the feeling and to the butterflies, and it's a welcome feeling.
Well, we're very excited to have you back. So what is the weight at right now? And I guess what is your biggest source of anxiety when it comes to the cut, if anything?
Well, it's actually pretty good. After training yesterday, it was down to like 191. So I'm really trying to make sure that I take the sting out of it as much as possible, being the fact that this is my first time dropping to 185. So I don't want to. I want to get my body used to working and moving and being at that lower weight, and just not trying to, put it all off on to the last minute, because I don't know how my body will feel, after I get to a certain point. So I'm getting as low as I can right now, and then I'll try to make the weight cut as easy as possible. But like I said, I haven't really been this low since my days in college at Michigan State. So it's been pretty tough to get down, but I've been staying pretty consistent with my diet and my exercise routine, so I feel pretty good.
Well, yeah, if your Instagram account's any indication, I mean, you look great, you sound great today, so that's a good thing as well here as Fight Week begins. So when this Daniel Kelly fight was first proposed and seemed like it was verbally agreed to before the UFC made the announcement, but how did it all go down, and how surprised were you that this was the fight that was offered?
Well, I was trying to get a fight since the New York and the Toronto fight fell through, and
right.
I stayed in shape, and I was just hoping and praying that I'd get an opportunity to fight. The last thing a fighter wants to do is have to not be able to fight on circumstance like I had to deal with in New York and Toronto. So I was just happy to get an opportunity to fight anybody, and I felt like. When my manager Ali came to me and he was like, "Listen, there's a couple guys that I want you to fight, but they may be tied up right now, so you might have to just fight somebody and just get a good fight under your belt, get some rounds in you, and then see how you feel at 185." And Daniel Kelly was a perfect guy because he was he's tough, and he's got the mindset of a champion. And he's going to try to push the pace, and he's going to come out there to fight, and he's going to really test me my first fight at 85. So I think after this fight, I'll know exactly what I'm dealing with being at this weight.
Rashad, when you see Daniel Kelly fight, it's weird because, here's a guy, he's not the most technical guy in the world, but when you see a guy who's maybe not so technical, you got to assume he's tough as nails, something he's shown again and again, and he's strong as hell. So how do you break down your opponent?
Yeah, with a guy like Daniel Kelly, he's, if you watch him on film, he's one of those guys that you would definitely overlook just on a technical level. But I think that's where he's been able to pull out these victories. The fact that the guys, they kind of overlook him, on a technical aspect, and they get off pretty early on him. But then as the fight goes on, they realize how durable he is, and more importantly, how strong he is, and then also, something that really can't be measured or judged by watching someone on film, and that's just how much heart and desire somebody has. That's something that, that can push past, skill level and everything else like that. When you have the heart and hunger and desire to keep on going, then, sky's the limit for you. And Dan Kelly has definitely been able to, outwill a lot of his opponents. They were technically better, and superior in other aspects of on a technical basis when it comes to fighting, but when it comes to just sheer will and determination, he had everybody beat.
Rashad, have you trained with any judo guys in preparation for this fight?
Yeah, I've been working with Roddy Ferguson a lot. Roddy Ferguson, he's a really good friend of mine, and he's been able to come down and just give some of his knowledge, and not only judo knowledge, but the transitional knowledge from MMA to judo, because it's different type of thing. It's not judo with the gi on and stuff like that, so the setups are different like that. So he was showing me a bunch of different setups, how to stay out of this, and what to watch for and things like that. And Roddy's been a godsend to me because he's definitely got me feeling like super sharp with my judo techniques.
Rashad Evans with us here on the Anakin Florian podcast. Fights Daniel Kelly on pay-per-view UFC 209 Saturday night. So I've listened to some of the interviews you've done here during fight week and last week, and I'm not going to ask you about how soon after the fight you're going to have sex or anything like that. I promise you that. But it does sound, man, like you do have championship aspirations still at middleweight. How much will this result on Saturday tell you about what lies ahead, not just in your immediate future, but maybe how far you can really take this thing now down a division?
It's going to be a big step, to say the least. But one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to put any more added pressure on, on Saturday, because at the end of the day, it's 1 second at a time, one punch at a time, and it's one opponent at a time. So, when you seem to look too far ahead and, get your mind wrapped around something and say it has to be this kind of way, then that's when it becomes the hardest thing to achieve. So for me, I'm just going to just keep it simple as possible and, look to execute every single thing. And I think that if I do that and I'm in my zone like how I've been in my zone during training camp, then there should be no doubt in my mind I should have the victory that I want. And then after that, sky's the limit as far as who's next and where I choose to, how I want to, I guess, attack this middleweight division. But, like I said, at 205 division, it doesn't matter how they stack up. At the end of the day, if I want to be the best, I got to fight them all. So whoever's the best, no matter how they arrange themselves, if I want to be champion, I'll fight them all.
All right, we'll get you out of here on this in terms of your training. We won't make you rehash all the Black Zillion stuff, but has the Combat Club with Henry Hoof been sort of your primary home here the last few weeks or not?
Yeah, the Combat Club has been, primarily where I go to, and then, even then I still do a lot of training on my own and just make sure that I don't sit in the gym all the time and I'm getting, different workouts that work out for me, because at the end of the day, I'm the one who has stepping octagon, and I'm the one who has to go out there and feel mentally prepared. And being mentally prepared is something that a lot of fighters overlook. They look on a really, look on a physical aspect and, get their bodies really, really strong, but then they're mentally weak and they can't perform to their expectations on fight night because they didn't really plan for the mental side. So, for me, a part of just mentally bringing myself to a level of preparedness where I feel like I can execute the techniques and my body moves the way I want it to was the fact that I have to do the workouts by myself and I have to, mentally prepare myself for what's to come. And I feel like that's something that I kind of got out of, being a part of a big team and really having to, divert a lot of my attention to other areas other than just me focusing on my fight, with the Black Zillion. So, I'm excited and I'm happy and being in this new weight class has definitely gave me another, I guess, boost in my career from a passionate point of view. I've been doing this for 14 years, and the easiest thing to do is to just kind of lose heart in something after you've been doing it for a while. But new weight class, and just being able to do my own thing the way I want to do it has definitely brought back a lot of love for the sport. I started doing jiu-jitsu again, and I haven't done it in so long, and I just realized how much I love jiu-jitsu, and I got a newborn love for that. So
wow.
It's just been really good for me all the way around.
You're getting me excited, man. Rashad Evans, future Hall of Famer, by the way, in my mind, fights Daniel Kelly, pay-per-view Saturday night. Can't wait to see you compete again, man. Thank you for the time. Wishing you a safe trip, safe cut, and we'll see you there in Vegas in a few days, man. Thank you again.
Oh, no problem, man. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, Rashad Evans with us on the Anakin Florian podcast. Kenny, in terms of where he's at mentally, sounds like he's in a very good place. And I got to think this many fights into a Hall of Fame type career, one of the best resumes in terms of strength of schedule that we've seen in the sport. When it comes to some of the training on his own, I would imagine you get to a point where you know what your body needs to get to sort of a championship level. And sounds like a lot of the noise now is out of the equation for Rashad.
Yeah, and just the fact that he was 191 the other day after practice is a very good sign. And I don't think he's going to be doing a Kenny Florian impersonation for the weigh-in. I think that he definitely can make 185 pounds. He does carry a lot of muscle, but height-wise, I think it makes a lot of sense for him. I think he'll be a beast at that weight class. And Rashad has always shown so much potential. And yes, he already has been the champion at 205 pounds. But I think for a lot of people, they even expected even more out of Rashad. I think a lot of people expect him to hold that belt for a very long time, and unfortunately, he wasn't able to do that. But the Korean mixed martial arts, it can be a lot of ups and downs, and I think Rashad is still learning the game. He's still very much a practicing student of the game, and I'm looking forward to this fight against Daniel Kelly. Daniel Kelly is very tough, and I think this fight makes a lot of sense for Rashad.